to have you here today in this set of alumni talks that we organize from UPF Barcelona School of Management. Today, we are talking with Wouter Draijer, CEO and co-founder of SolarMente and alumni of UPF-BSM. My name is Erola Palau. I am also alumni of UPF-BSM. I did the Master of Science in Management, and I am currently working at Barcelona School of Management. I am Deputy Director of the Master of Science in Sustainability Management. But let's talk about Wouter. Welcome, Wouter. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Arola. I'll have to give you 10 points for the pronunciation of my name because not a lot of people do that well in the first time. But thanks for having me.
Thanks. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you today. So the point of this talk is to, get to know you, know your experience, how you launched SolarMente. Maybe also the audience would like to know what the project is about.
Okay.
So let's start there. What is SolarMente about? What can you tell us about your amazing project?
We only have 30 minutes, right?
Yes. Okay. I mean, we can talk more, and we can have. Let me just say, sorry, before you start, let me just say that in the end of the session, the audience can have some questions, so they can send us the questions on their comments, and hopefully we can address some of them directly. And also for the audience, if they want to check the website of SolarMente, they can use the link that will be posted in the comments as well, so they can also check the information themselves. But okay, Wouter, go ahead.
Good.
About SolarMente.
So SolarMente is a clean energy platform for homeowners. And down the line, what we do is we make it very easy for every Spanish house owner to go for solar. And what we are building is the model to not only go for solar, but use the same trust to upgrade systems with EV chargers for the future cars they're going to drive, electric cars. We upgrade systems with heating systems, cooling systems, and local storage. And still, that's not rocket science, but what we managed to accomplish recently is to create a decentralized energy network where we're able to connect all our clients with one platform and play with supply and demand. So we're able to let the client save 30% more on their monthly savings compared to anybody else in the European industry.
Okay. And how has been the launching process? Was it easy to start this project?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. That's what every entrepreneur says. So tell us about it.
It was not. It's been an incredible journey. I graduated in 2019, and by that time we had no money, no clients, and COVID happened. So we were basically almost bankrupt. We had no clue how to proceed. But Victor and I managed to get traction. We found a solution for clients that they really liked, and what we learned doing our research is just keep talking with clients. You have a lot of no's, and in the end, you will get in a kind of flow with clients, and they start liking you. But starting a company, especially for me, I'm from Holland. It was very difficult here in Spain because I do not speak the language. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but it was a big culture difference. But good, paso a paso, step by step.
Step by step.
And,
okay. Did you find any major setbacks when you were launching the project?
Yes, the biggest one was regulation. Because if you think about a residential solar installation, it sounds very easy. Buy some panels, install it on the roof, and then make some profit and move on. But we found a big challenge in paperwork. It's insanely difficult to get everybody to serve everybody as you want to do, because it's quite bureaucratic. And of course, talent. 4 years ago, when I started SolarMente, startups were not really a thing. So the culture here is to find something stable, have a stable income. But the startup is related to like big risk, failure. So it was very difficult in the beginning without any traction to get some people believing in our system, especially since I didn't speak the language well.
I get that. And your co-founder is also not from Spain, right?
My
He's,
co-founder Victor, a good friend of mine, he is from France.
he is from France.
He's from France, yeah. So we're French and Dutch in the Spanish environment. It was kind of a challenge in the beginning.
Yeah, it sounds like a joke somehow.
Yeah,
The
well,
typical
yeah.
joke.
Well, a joke, a very good joke though.
A very good joke indeed. So how did you end up in Spain?
Yeah. So I it's actually funny. I wanted to study in Spain. I found a big opportunity in residential solar. I came here to Pompeo Fabra to do an open day, and I fell in love with the city and with the people by then around me. So I ended up in Spain. Love for the weather, if I'm very, very honest.
Yeah.
And I was planning to do it for a short time, like a year, and then I found a big opportunity, and I actually stayed.
That's great. I mean, what did you think about the masters? Do you think it was a stepping stone for you to start your own project?
Yes. Well, I have a background in engineering, and I had never had no clue how to do the financial part of a company. So what I learned in the master was to link the knowledge I have gained during my studies as an engineer to transform that into something that's economically also feasible. I had never seen a balance sheet until 5 years ago, and I learned the basics to understand the success factors of a company and also what not to do when launching a company.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, before starting the masters, you already had this, let's call it entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
And then you did the masters where you gained all this knowledge that allowed you to later launch your own very successful project.
Yeah. Well, related to very successful project, we can talk about it later. But about the entrepreneurial spirit, yeah. So I've been building companies since I was 18. I think I registered my first company, but it was always like organic growth, not really with the business model. It just happened, and people liked what I was doing. I was always involved in startups, so I knew how startup worked, but more on the putting things into practice side, but not on the management side. And I missed that piece of knowledge in my portfolio. So therefore, I studied the master. Although you do not learn how to build companies in school, you just get a foundation to understand how good companies work.
Yeah. So do you think it's kind of trial and error when you're building a company?
I not only think, it's also I know.
Okay.
You can fail as a company, but you can also fail with ideas. So many founders I speak with, or many entrepreneurs or people that want to build a company, they think they have one idea and they have one plan, and that's going to be the plan. But I will tell you, it's not the case. Your
It's
idea
never gonna be the plan.
no, exactly. So thousands of, or if not millions of people thought probably about your idea, and there might be a very good reason why people didn't do it yet. Like even if it makes so much sense and it still does not exist, think about it. There might be a very good reason why people don't do it if it's that good of an idea. So yeah, your plan will maybe fail, or you didn't find the product market fit. So you find another solution for the challenge that you're facing. If that's a failure, I think it's only a failure if you don't learn from it. If you learn from it and do it next time better, I think it's a win.
Okay, so now that we are in the topic, if you had the chance to give some advice to future entrepreneurs or to current students, what advice would you give them related to entrepreneurship?
How would you like me to answer this question? Like, if
Do
they
you
should.
maybe let's start with anything that you would have liked to know before launching SolarMente?
Yeah, that's quite a personal. That only reflects to me because let me answer this in two stages. So
Okay.
more for me, I never worked in a big corporate. I worked in companies that were managed very badly or managed very well. So, but that was only on the startup side. And most of the time, founders, they really believe in the idea. You only hear the positive stuff and the motivating stuff. Um, but I never was part of a bigger corporate, a bigger, very structured company where I could see how a successful organized company worked. I never worked in a team. I always was building in a very small department, a very specific thing, always in renewables, but never in a bigger corporate. So what I was missing was lack of how more corporate company work and how corporate people think, and how can you attract them to a startup and manage them differently, because it's a very big difference. So for everybody that wants to start and you do not have any experience yet, it's not a bad idea to get to work a couple of years at a startup. You can go or to a very big corporate, or you go to a startup where you can learn a lot, way more than in any other company, and then start for yourself.
Okay, I think that's good advice. Then I would say, from entrepreneurs that I've met, or stories that have been shared about entrepreneurs, it's definitely not an easy task. I'm sure it has not been easy for you either. It requires a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of investment and hard times. But would you recommend others, like the audience today, would you recommend them to pursue their entrepreneur, like their own projects, their entrepreneur mindset? Would
Uh,
you recommend it? Yes.
but
But
I'll
okay,
explain
go
why
ahead.
not.
Yes, please.
You sacrifice absolutely everything for that. It should be your baby. It's number one priority. And if the team feels that the founder does not believe in the project, you lose them. I've seen that in other companies. I know that once you want to build a company, a fun fact is that you are the company. So you speak the language. I speak SolarMente. I am SolarMente. I dream SolarMente. My whole life is about this. And in order to attract people, you have to, and build a good company, you have to really, you have to be willing to sacrifice. No partying, almost no salary, and really dedicate your life to it. Because only then you will find, as a junior in the sector, a successful company. Besides that, if you want to start, I think it is important that you set your full ego aside, because everybody that wants to start a company has one, like, North Star. I'm going to build this, and this is going to be the coolest thing, and everybody needs it. I will tell everybody that's listening that's not the case, because your company or the idea will change. The vision can remain the same, but the plan and the path to achieve that mission or the vision, that will change, and you will be you will get destroyed many times by investors or people that do not believe in you yet. And the last part is, I think it's important that you speak with many people in the sector. So if you doubt, if you have doubt about yourself, your capabilities, or your idea, I can only motivate you to speak with people that have already done it. Ask them for their advice. Why did they do it? What did they learn from it? And what would they have done differently? Because only then you formulate your perfect ideology about your perfect company, that will probably change a lot over time.
I think those are all great advice for people looking to launch their own projects, right? So to recap, that plans never are followed, or
No,
even if you try to, plans will never be done. Set your ego aside, because things will go wrong, and you have to be able to adapt to the new realities. Learn from people who have done it before. Learn from other startups, from big corporations you mentioned before as well. And basically work hard, right?
Very hard. Yeah,
Very
especially
hard.
8 years. I remember when I was with Victor. I studied in Ciutadella, and we used that facility to work all July, August, September. There was basically nobody. We had no money. I mean, we lived for 700 euros per month, building a company, eating pizza and eating noodles, making very long hours, and working in free spots. And you hear many, many no's. No, we're not interested. No, find somebody else. What are you guys doing here? And after a while, when you just keep repeating your mission and where you stand for, people start believing in you and they will start following you. But if you look at the first business model Victor and I ever presented, the vision is still the same. Not a single word changed. And we kept on repeating it. And now it starts creating some trust in the market, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. But also, I would like to say that this hard work definitely brings fruits, let's say, right? Because just last year you raised 50 million euros for the project, and you have about 40 employees in the firm. So it's definitely growing steadily and very,
Yeah.
very quickly. So well, I want to say congratulations on that, because it's definitely not an easy feat. um, then you were saying before that you have always worked in the renewable energy sector. You are an engineer. So about this sector, where do you think it is going in the future?
Yeah. By the way, you say congratulations, but I know that there are some team members looking, but I'm just a messenger, okay? I'm just do some pitching and I share it. It's them that get the full reward.
Okay,
Then,
congratulations for the full team.
there we go, the bingo. Where are we going with the sector? Is that what you asked me?
Yes. So what's going to happen in your opinion? What's going to happen in the market of renewable energies, and also how is that related to SolarMente?
Yeah. Let's talk globally, where everybody can relate to. So, the biggest challenge we face in life right now is climate change. There's no doubts about that. Now that's a big problem, but this problem also brings opportunities for bigger corporates, opportunities for startups like SolarMente. So we all will drive electric. Everybody that's listening right now will drive an electric car, believe it or not, even the petrol heads. Everybody will have an EV charger at home or in the area. Everybody will have a heat pump. Everybody will have a smart system in home. We'll have solar directly or indirectly. Well, those sound like all smart solutions, but they're quite stupid if you don't let them communicate together. So the biggest challenge that we will face is how we can connect all these smart devices and play with supply and demand. For example, right now I'm at the office in Poblenou, Barcelona. Right now, my solar panels in my house, they are working for nobody because nobody is at my home. Behind me, all lights are shining. What if I can transform the energy that's generated right now locally somewhere else to my office? And what if we can do that 1,000,000 times per day, 1,000,000 times per second everywhere in the world? The biggest challenge we face is how we connect all the devices in order to close the gap between production and consumption. Right now, biggest consumption is when there's no sun and there's lower consumption during the day. And the biggest opportunity is for the smart guys that can connect all these big consumers and producers.
And so that's what inspired you to create SolarMente, maybe?
Oh, well, what inspired me is that I was very frustrated that there was no solution to give households solar. It was freaking difficult to understand a rather simple product. I mean, if you understand it, it's basically solar is a money printing machine. You invest in it and it will print money for 25 years. And yet people pitch it as a very technical product. Of course, it's a technical product, but what it does is save a lot of money. And there was no solution in this whole industry that did that. The plan evolved over time. Like, how can we differentiate ourselves from the rest in the industry? And then we introduced home energy management and upgrading these systems. But the real inspiration I got is because it was so difficult for house owners to go for solar, and it still is, even when the market is developing.
And did you get inspired by any, like, maybe company or situation in your home country or some other case that you know about to create
Yeah,
SolarMente? Yeah.
yeah, two. So one is on operation side, and one is on customer service and UX, user experience. So let's first talk about UX. Customer experience and customer service in Spain, normally compared to the knowledge I have in other countries, can be improved quite a lot.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. Me too. So that was first. That's the first one. There's one company in Holland that does that very, very well. It's called Coolblue, and they reverse engineered how they talk with customers. What Coolblue does is nothing else than selling dishwashers or heat pumps or telephones or mouses. But what they did is, in every step in the full flow, they listened to the customer and did exactly or showed exactly what the customer would like to see. They have their slogan. That's also their success. It's called "Everything for a Smile." And with that mentality, when you, in every step in the process, you put your client central, you make them feel understood and meet expectations, you have an extremely powerful business model, and especially if you can automate as much as possible. So that is Coolblue, fantastic company. And of course, on the operation side, it is Elon Musk, what he did with the production and sales of Tesla. Whatever Elon Musk does, let's leave that out of this equation. But what he did is he revolutionized the way people buy a car. And he revolutionized the way people produce cars. He has only one store per city, and he sells high quality cars that bring you from A to B. And the full experience is incredible. The options are limited, and everything is so easy to follow, even on the operation side. I'll explain you, because I absolutely love what he did with
Go ahead.
Tesla. He builds Tesla factories, gigafactories, and that factory produces a Tesla every couple of seconds, every couple of minutes. What he did is he made that so easy to replicate. Now he can put Tesla factories everywhere, revolutionizing the full way EV chargers or EV cars are built. We do the same with SolarMente, so we gamify quite a lot. For example, the office that we are in right now, we call it the Solar Factory. Money printing machine, Solar Factory in Poblenou. We're right now expanding to Madrid, to Alicante, to Valencia, and we call that Moon Factories, like how Elon Musk will name it. So Coolblue and Tesla, especially the operations part, is where we get a lot of inspiration from.
Okay, so putting the customer in the center and then learning from Tesla and Elon Musk to revolutionize the solar energy market. This is what you're doing, basically, right?
Yeah.
So talking about the next steps, you just mentioned that you are expanding to other cities in Spain.
Yeah.
Any plans to go international?
Yes, but it doesn't make sense for us if we do not find the product market fit here. So yes, we would love to open next year in Portugal. We would love to open in 1.5 years in Italy and France. Yet we learned when the market opportunity in Spain is so big, I'll tell you, 5 million households that need to go to solar in the coming years to reach the sustainability goals. We should focus here first and be sure that we are not the biggest, but the absolute best. And once we have a formula where clients refer to new clients, and we name that, say, product market fit, we have a product that people really love. People that want our product or love our product are willing to introduce us to new people. And once we have that successful formula, we also feel comfortable as a team, as a company, to open offices outside of the Spanish territory. But yes, the full yes, well, I would love to.
Okay, sounds great. I cannot wait to see SolarMente everywhere in the next few years. Then you were just talking about the market opportunity in Spain. From my experience, I'm from Spain as well, and I think that I don't know much about the sector, but I do see that people are not well educated on the benefits of solar energy.
Mhm.
Is this also your experience?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Solar was illegal for quite a long time. So because the network, the electricity grid, the network is privatized. Some years ago, whatever happened, it was not you were not possible as a homeowner to install solar, and that trust was broken completely. And it takes a lot of time to build that trust. And why is that? Because a solar installation, a residential solar installation, house owners relate that to Endesa or Iberdrola, companies that normally are not really loved by customer service, for example. So it is very difficult to gain trust in a new market 4 years ago. But right now we see that people are more educated. We see that they did their research. They know brands about solar panels, about inverters. So the conversations compared to 3 years ago are different. Yet, if you're in the full street and nobody has solar, why would you take the step to be the first? So we still face a challenge to educate people why solar is the right decision to take right now. But yeah, if you crack that code, you have a very fruitful company, I'll say.
Yeah. And how are you educating the people? How are
Um,
you doing that?
yeah, it's funny. I should watch out what I say, but of course, um, I believe that residential solar can have a significant impact, positive impact on the CO2 footprint of every household. Yet, what do people want in Spain? Hardcore money, savings. They want to save money. So we had to change our business model, not to only we help you being sustainable, which is more the case in Germany and Holland, for example, but we also mainly make you save a shit ton of money. So how do we educate people? We start with the savings, and then all the rest. If we can
All
show
the
you
rest of benefits.
exactly.
Okay. So basically, for someone in Spain who would like to install solar panels, or someone who wants to just save money on their energy consumption, uh, they should go to SolarMente, and SolarMente will make their lives easier, right?
I'll say yes. If you don't want to go for us, go for any other company. I think you should have solar. You're stupid if you don't, because you install with 8,000 euros a machine that will print 45,000 euros. So people that are listening, please choose any provider. And if you want a very good service, choose us. Hands down, we're the best here.
You heard it here before. So, great. I think that's very interesting. Um, we are not hearing a lot of energy entrepreneurship. At least, like we're not hearing a lot about projects in the like entrepreneurship projects in the energy sector. Um, and probably part of like the reason behind this is that it is a very, very difficult sector to launch a project, right? Like in terms of investment and knowledge, and the regulations are very difficult.
Yeah.
From your experience comparing between Spain and the Netherlands, your home country, do you think that the markets are very different in terms of, for example, regulations in Spain versus the Netherlands?
Yeah.
There are for sure points of improvement for Spain, right?
Yeah.
Do you have um, any idea about this?
From inside, actually, I received a question from a Dutch newspaper, I think 2 months ago. They asked me how did the Spanish startup environment change over the years I was working in startups in Spain. And 4 years ago, there was no trust, nor an incubator or an accelerator. You had Barcelona Activa, you had some local ideas or people that came together and building ideas together, but there was no real startup ecosystem. Now, Hola Luz fantastic company. A Wallbox, some global, for example, also very successful companies that generated a lot of trust in this Spanish startup environment. Big investments, remote working, going to Barcelona when you want to work somewhere else, attracted a lot of new people. So over the years, Barcelona and Spain changed into more a place that is trusted by investors. You see also YC, Y Combinator, one of our investors, also making their follow-up investments in the Spanish market. Compared to Holland, it's more developed. Every university has their incubator. All the students that have an idea are directly captured by this incubator to generate as much value as possible, and then sell it to other companies or expand. In Spain, this is not the case yet. And then related to funding, SolarMente is in asset-intensive industry. That means we need a lot of solar panels to provide to our clients. That means we have to buy the actual panel. 4 years ago, startups like SaaS companies, software as a service companies, were prioritized because they could be a unicorn way quicker. And investors would say, hey, we're not going to this B2C company that has to buy a lot of solar panels because the growth will be slower. Now, the interesting thing is happening. Right now, all SaaS companies are not purchased anymore, or their software is not subscribed anymore because bigger corporates are limiting their investments in new companies. Now, the asset-intensive companies that have a product and something that is really powerful are the ones that are winning this game. We're a profitable company. Very cool to share with you that. So we also become very interesting to investors to follow up on us.
Mm-hmm. So the market is also changing very, very quickly.
But,
and you have to adapt. Either you adapt or you die, right?
Exactly, and especially right now, because as a startup, you normally have 18 months of runway. You go fundraising every 18, 24 months. And at the end of this year, that runway for most software companies, they're running out of money. So where their main KPI for investors was growth, investors right now say, show me profitability, because they want to know that their investment that they're doing, that this company will still exist in a couple of years. Will you do that in a software company that is in high need of money? Or would you do that in a company that tackles a very big challenge right now, climate change, B2C solar, and is already generating money? Well, if I was an investor, I would make my bet on a company that's already labeled as SolarMente or something similar.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much, Wouter, for these explanations. And well, I love to hear your opinion, and I think that the audience, for sure, they did too. We'll now move to answer some questions that we have from the audience. This way, it's also possible to interact a bit with them. So. First, we have a question by Elena Fernandez, and she's asking, do you think that the Sustainable Development Goals, will they become a reality, or are they just a project? In this case, since if you don't mind me adding something, there are some Sustainable Development Goals directly related to energy and to consumption of energy. So do you have any insights on this? Are they a reality, or will they become a reality, or are they just a project that will not bring any real results?
Good question. What the time will tell us, but we all know that the sustainable development goals are measures because we are messing up completely on our sustainability in the world. And especially Spain is far and far behind on sustainability. Well, we can separate garbage, but EVs or smart energy solutions, they do not exist yet. So these goals are set as what is needed right now to have an impact on positive impact on climate. Do I see them as a project? For sure, it's a big project. It's a hell of a project. But will they be reachable? I don't know. Some of them, yes. Yet, when goals are not reached, investments from governments start to apply. For example, grants, something to accelerate it. So the goals should be ambitious. It's okay not reaching goals, but as long as there's significant action taken to reach that, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if I'm, mm, if I may share my opinion, I think that so we know that the Sustainable Development Goals were developed by the United Nations to be like adopted by all countries in the world and accomplished by 2030. We are now in the year 2023, so we only have 7 years left to accomplish these goals. In my opinion, I think that they will not be reached. They are just a project. They are a good project. It's a good option, as you were saying, a very like a big objective to accomplish. But one thing that I know for sure is that if companies and the private sector does not align with the goals, it is impossible that the countries will be able to accomplish these sustainable development goals. That's why I think it's so important to have a project such as yours that directly align with the goals and implement them. Like, it's your raison d'être that you are implementing some of these goals in clean energy and self-sufficient consumption and using renewable energies. Like, that's very, very important. And projects like these are the ones that are going to make sustainable development goals a reality. Maybe not in 2030, but in future years.
By the way, government can only motivate consumers, homeowners, inhabitants to contribute to climate. But I think it's up to startups and companies to create the opportunity for everybody, every individual or every family to contribute positively. How do I translate to the business model that we work with? I create a button online where you only have to fill in your address and then say, yes, I would like to have an offer. And then with that offer, you can click and contribute for the coming 25, 30, 35 years to your own footprint. And I think when there are government initiatives to motivate that, we first create a financial no-brainer. Like it makes a lot of sense to buy our product, and you get many, many rewards back from the government to actually motivate that. So it's up to us, smaller companies, to accelerate this transition. And I also feel responsible for these results.
Yeah, that's great. So it's amazing to know about inspired and inspiring startups such as yours. Great. And then we have another question from Pau Rovira. He says, only 5% of hydrogen projects in Europe are progressing effectively. He says that the lack of a clear business model and the multiple promises of public aid leave 100,000 millions of euros in investments up in the air, according to the big companies. So Pau, in this context, is asking, what solutions would you propose in this market niche to make synergies with solar energy? So combining hydrogen projects and the solar energy projects, do you find, or do you think that there are any possibilities to make synergies?
Yeah. Well, Pau, you did a great question there. So 5% of the hydrogen projects in the world or in Europe are effective. 100,000 million is 100 billion euro project in total. But yes, what is a reason why we're developing hydrogen? Is that we are trying to create other storage opportunities for energy. In Spain, I think 2 weeks ago, we reached 9 hours of 100% plus self-sufficiency. So all the energy that we, here in Spain, generated was more than we consumed. That is an absolute dream, but that is 9 hours during the day. It is the hours in the night where we should tackle, where we should focus on right now. So hydrogen can be a very good solution if we want to generate hydrogen, liquid hydrogen, for energy purposes later on. So I think, especially in the big solar fields, next to that, the big hydrogen generator will be a very good option. I have to admit, I'm not an expert, but I know that hydrogen versus local storage, hydrogen will win on the long run. And besides that, another good opportunity with solar and local yet mobile storage would be to use electric car batteries. For example, Pau, when you buy your future Tesla, you can also lease your battery in the future with SolarMente, where you can use 80% of your battery. Imagine you have that 20% battery left that we can sell to the grid when prices are extremely high and when there's no sun. And during that day, during the morning, you can charge your car in the office for almost for free. So creating smart solutions with local and mobile storage devices, cars, for example, which there were millions in the future, will help significantly closing this gap in supply and demand during the day and night.
Thank you, Wouter. Well, Pau, I hope your question was answered. And we are reaching now the 45-minute mark. So we are gonna have to close the session here today. Before doing that, oh wait, we have a new comment from Pau. He says,
Really?
"Okay, gonna invest in SolarMente for sure."
Pau, send me a message on LinkedIn. Let's get you over to the office.
So Pau, you can contact Wouter via LinkedIn. Great. So as I was saying, thank you, Wouter. Thank you so much for talking to us today, for this insightful conversation. It is great to learn about projects such as yours. You're doing a great job, and as we were saying before, we will see SolarMente everywhere in the world in a few years. So thank you very much.
The pleasure is mine.
And for the audience today, thank you again for joining us this afternoon. We will soon share the theme of our next alumni talk. And if you're not yet part of the LinkedIn alumni group, we invite you to join us and hopefully join us in other sessions. So thank you all and have a good afternoon.
Have a really good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. For all the team members that are looking, guys, I love you. See you guys later and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.